Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. Quick follow-up on the vote that took place Saturday. This was in the House of Representatives concerning military aid for Ukraine passing. And I want to share some posts from Ukrainian defenders thanking the United States. This picture is from the Village of Chivar. This is right on the front lines. And they know the difference this is going to make in the coming weeks. Here's a video I want to share from Yuri Kochevenko. He's also known as the Pikachu Soldier for this Pikachu patch he has on his vest. But I want to share his video thanking the American people.
Hello, my name is Yuri Kochevenko. I am a Ukrainian soldier, an officer, a father and a son. I'm defending Ukraine from Russia since 2014. In the last few months, the situation here on the front is critical. We rely on Western support and US support. And after yesterday Congress vote, I know our partners are with us. We will fight, but now we will have the ammunition to do it. Today I've got a lot of messages from my American friends. They had both joy and apologies, many warm words of support, and most importantly, hope. A hope that things are going to get better. And I want, on my own behalf and on behalf of my brother in arms, to thank every American who, through their actions and citizenship, brought this decision closer. To every congressman and congresswoman who made this decision. There are still many hard trails ahead, of course, but please remember, we are fighting for our freedom and yours. Together we are stronger. God bless America. Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to the heroes. So at the time I'm filming this video on Tuesday morning, the Senate hasn't voted yet on military aid for Ukraine. If you want to check in for yourself, you can search C-SPAN Live Senate to get the feed. But I am confident this is going to happen today, and it will pass. That's not just my opinion. This is what United States senators are saying. This is Colorado Senator Michael Bennet. He was on MSNBC this morning.
Are you confident this now moves through the Senate when it got through that long, months-long process in the House?
We've talked about this so many times over the last 6 or 8 months on this program, and for the first time, Willie, I can say I'm confident that this is going to get through the Senate, that the United States is going to fulfill our mandate as the leading democracy in the world to support not just Ukraine's fight for democracy, but frankly, the entire Western world's fight against Putin.
So there you have it. It's going to pass. Hopefully it passes today, but it might have to pass tomorrow. MAGA Republicans in the Senate are going to try and waste as much time as possible. Ohio Republican Senator JD Vance did this 2 months ago, back in February, when the Senate passed their version of military aid for Ukraine. And these guys don't have any real arguments. So when it's their turn to speak, they literally just read the dictionary or children's books. So this is what JD Vance did on the floor of the Senate 2 months ago.
Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape. All that waiting and staying, you'll find the bright places where the boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky.
This is the best that Putin's supporters in U.S. Congress can do. Reading Dr. Seuss's The Waiting Place, or the dictionary. So yes, they're going to waste everyone's time, but this vote is going to happen. Biden tells Zelensky he will sign the aid bill as soon as the Senate approves it. Literally, it's going to pass the Senate. Someone's going to drive it over to the White House, and Biden will have a signing ceremony as fast as possible. This is what the reports are. Military aid for Ukraine is already in Poland and Germany. It just has to be taken across the border. The Polish farmers are giving up on their protest for this week. They're going to end their blockade so they're not accused of blocking desperately needed military aid. So trucks, trains, we're going to try and get as much into Ukraine as fast as possible. U.S. military aid could reach the Ukrainian front lines within a week after the approval. The assistance will likely include air defense supplies to counter Russia's attacks on civilians. So there's going to be a lot coming really fast. $60 billion in aid means probably the United States is going to announce a $1 billion assistance package every week. $1 to $2 billion even, every week for the rest of this year. That's what's coming for the Russians. Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, Gimler's rounds, and yes, ATACMS. Ukraine to receive long-range ATACMS. This is confirmed by Virginia Senator Mark Warner. And it's also confirmed by President Zelensky. This is what President Zelensky has to say. And today's results, all the I's have been dotted in the agreements regarding ATACMS. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Congress. Thank you, America. So I think the United States is going to send hundreds of ATACMS over the next couple months. The reason why this is such a big deal is the size of the warhead, a lot bigger than a Gimler's round or GLSDB, and the range of ATACMS is 300 kilometers. This is what has the Russians so paranoid and upset. When we look at the range from the Kherson region to Sevastopol, it's 250 kilometers. Ukraine can launch these from behind Mykolaiv and still hit the port city of Sevastopol. And when it comes to the Kerch Strait Bridge, is it within 300 kilometers? And yes, it's within 300 kilometers from the Kherson region, but when you go over here to Zaporizhia, we're looking at 260. When we go over to Donetsk, it's 287. This bridge is screwed. This bridge is going down. Once again, not my opinion. Here's Scott Ritter, convicted child sex offender and one of the biggest supporters of Russia here in America. This is his opinion. This allocation by Congress will allow long-range ATACMS missiles to be sent to Ukraine. Ukraine will use these to attack the Crimea Bridge. The current Russian deterrence posture is insufficient to stop this attack. Unless Russia makes it clear to both Ukraine and the United States that the consequences of such an attack will far outweigh the perceived benefits, it is inevitable that the Crimea Bridge will be destroyed. Scott Ritter is the most annoying person on social media, appearing on every YouTube channel he can possibly get on, and every time he says Ukraine is going to collapse next week. He's been saying this for over 2 years now, and now he's saying the destruction of the Crimea Bridge is inevitable. The Kremlin really didn't see this coming. This is what the intelligence reports are coming out. Putin thought that this military aid was going to be blocked until the November election. So they have no plan B. They have no counter to this. They didn't see it coming, and they weren't prepared for it. I keep waiting for a really good clip on Kremlin State TV of them talking about this aid package. But they're being very cautious. They're being very careful what they tell the Russian people. For fun, though, I do want to share this clip from Russian Media Monitor. This is Margarita Simonyan, the head of RT News. And this is what she has to say in defense of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you've just shown, is a beauty. She is one of the few members of the U.S. Congress who is trying to look like a person in an old-fashioned sense of the word. She is a blonde who wears white coats with a fur collar. She is demonstratively heterosexual. Maybe in Russian this means something differently, but That's a very bizarre compliment to give someone. What do you think Wikipedia says about her? Who is Marjorie Taylor Greene? Wikipedia says she's a conspiracy theorist. She has extreme right views. As soon as any person says something that shows they are normal, America's enormous media behemoth declares them a conspiracy theorist and a person of extreme right views. Okay, Margarita. She continues, "We are the only ones who can end this war when we decide to do so, when our goals will be accomplished, to the extent that we find them to be satisfactory. To them," I guess she means the West, "we are also a colony in their colonialism. They always attached other countries to themselves, those they considered third world countries. To them, we also became a third world country. Then Putin came, and we started to gradually shed those traits, those outfits of a third world country. We changed into normal suits. We started to look differently. They can't stand it. They won't be able to, and they will not stop. Question is, what should we do? We should continue to develop as we always have. We should expand." If you better understand this nonsense that they spew on Kremlin State TV to the Russian people, I genuinely would like to understand it. I want to know, what are Russia's goals? Putin has never clearly defined them to the Russian people. Is it just the territorial boundaries of these 4 oblasts they annexed? Does it include Odessa? Does it include Kharkiv? Does it include Kyiv? She is correct in that only Russia can end this war. This war will only end once Russia gives up on their occupation and their dreams of rebuilding their empire. Now, according to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia is likely to ramp up offensives before U.S. military aid can arrive to the front lines. Russian troops have had tactical successes over the past 6 months due to deteriorating Ukrainian military supplies and equipment, but it's unlikely they'll achieve a breakthrough in the next week or two. I've seen so many posts from Ukrainian defenders saying they could have held on to this territory. They could have held on to this village or town if they just had the artillery to stop the attacks. President Zelensky says Russia will attempt to seize the village of Chivar prior to the May 9th Victory Day parade. So there's actually 2 important dates coming up in Russia. Of course, there's the May 9th World War II Victory Day parade, but Putin's inauguration is going to be on May 7th. He had his election last month, but he's officially going to be re-sworn in for another term on May 7th. So I think a lot of this military aid from the United States is going to arrive in time to ruin these 2 events. This bridge could go down prior to May 7th or May 9th, or even on May 7th or May 9th, and this will be very embarrassing for the Russians. Now, concerning the village of Chivar, this is the hottest point on the front lines. Over 20,000 Russian troops are currently trying to storm the city. And Chivar itself is not too significant. The Russians took the city of Bakhmut over a year ago. The next stepping stone was the village of Chivar. It's been over a year, and the Russians have advanced 5 kilometers. But the significance of Chivar at this point is to stop the Russians from going to their next target, Kramatorsk. As soon as Chivar falls, all of these gliding bombs from the Russian aviation is going to go on Kramatorsk. Chivar is only a very small village, pre-war population of about 12,000 people. But Kramatorsk is huge by comparison. 10 times bigger, 150,000 people. So as long as Chivar is the main focus of the Russian military, they're not daily bombing the city of Kramatorsk. So Chasiv Yar, we hope, can hold this week, this month. U.S. military aid can arrive in time. But every defender in this village knows who they're protecting. What comes next if Chasiv Yar falls? Well, let's check in on the mighty Russian military. And this is an astonishing clip. Normally I will read the subtitles for you guys, but I think you need to experience what life is like for the average Russian soldier in the trenches. So I'm going to play the clip. There are subtitles. These Russians are swearing a lot, but I think you need to feel this. The fear on their faces, the filth they live in, the lack of supports, the lack of supplies, the lack of protection. These men know they're probably going to die soon.
А мы ничего сделать не можем, просто, сука, блядь, пушечное мясо, нахуй. Нас поливают со всех орудий, блядь.
Это называется закреп.
Вон, сегодня заходило 19 человек, нахуй.
Вот она, наша крыша, ебать.
Осталось, нахуй, 0, все, перехуярили. И вон сейчас еще пацаны ложатся, артиллерия есть, ну только хуярит, успевает.
Кассеты? Это пиздец.
Второй день сегодня, нахуй, нас кассетами уже заебались накрывать.
До своей роты хуй дошли вообще, нахуй. 3 раза с товарищем майором, блядь, ходили. 3 раза, нахуй, нас оттуда просто кассетами выхуяривали, нахуй. Все, сука, сколько нас заходило? 10 человек, нахуй. Все по лесополосе этой, нахуй, раскиданы. Ни с кем ни связи, ни хуязи, вообще ничего нет. И нас что сюда закинули?
Кругом одни трупы, нахуй.
При высадке, нахуй, в зону, нас сгорела бэха, нахуй. Со всеми нашими, сука, вещами. Тут же, нахуй, разъебали. Похуй, поехали. Все обеспечат. Ни лопат окапываться, ни лопат, ни сухпайков, ни воды, ни хуя.
Без воды сидим, вон у трупов что идешь, собираешь пожрать, нахуй.
Мародерим, блядь.
Не жрать, не пить, нахуй, не посрать. Нихуя нету у нас.
Если бы сейчас не бомбили, можно было выйти и заснять, сколько вот пацанов выходишь. Сразу идешь по лесополке, лежат и лежат.
Все усеяно трупами, блядь.
Только украинцы хуярят и хуярят. Сейчас еще погодь, нахуй, выйдет Брэдли и начнет ебашить до конца разъебывать.
Да, уже ничего страшного.
Уже и вертушки сегодня ебашили, нахуй.
А у нас, нахуй, 2 минометки, нахуй, и пиздец, нихуя больше.
Со всех ебать сторон, нахуй, просто. Тут от лесополосы-то нихуя не осталось. Ну так, покажи ее как-нибудь. Получится там?
А кого там?
Вот она, нахуй, за тобой.
Все,
такая занавесочка, штаны, нахуй.
Не надо, нахуй. Все, тихонечко сидим, пацаны.
They have no food, no water, no communications, no support, and they're surrounded by corpses. The only food and water they have are the rations they take off their dead comrades. If they think things are bad now, they're not going to be happy a month from now. So what are Russia's mighty military victories on the battlefield? And they blew up a TV tower in Kharkiv. This is one of Russia's top priorities for their limited missiles. There is a video online, I'll link it down below, of the moments the TV tower was struck. With Russia's limited missiles, this was one of their top priorities, blowing up a TV tower. Now for Ukrainian citizens, they still have the internet. If they want to stream television stations on their laptop or phones, they can still do that. But now their TVs aren't going to work anymore. Here is U.S. journalist Zarina Zabriskie in the city of Kharkiv, and the TV tower thankfully collapsed in a public park next door. Nobody was injured or killed, but this is really pathetic, Russia. Quick update on Chechnya's Kadyrov. Kadyrov is suffering from pancreatic necrosis. This guy, I think, is like 47 years old. He's not even 50. This is what he looked like 4 years ago before the war. And there's been all these bizarre reports about his health and being poisoned. But this is what he looks like now. 4 years ago and today. Now, in Russian society, it's imperative that you project strength. You look like a strong man when you're a strong man. So Kadyrov puts out these bizarre videos proving his vitality, and I have to share this clip with you. This is Kadyrov proving his strength by bench pressing a big rock.
Ну что, Ваня?
A lot of people online are saying, given the shape of this rock, it's fake, but this could be, in my amateur geology opinion, just dolomite. Granite and igneous rock is much more dense and heavy, but if you pick up a sedimentary rock like sandstone or dolomite, it's not as heavy, but still a very bizarre clip and pretty weird. This is breaking news. Poland is ready to host nuclear weapons, says President Duda. Poland, a NATO member and a staunch supporter of Ukraine, shares a border with both Russia's Kaliningrad and Belarus. So this is tit for tat. Belarus is hosting nuclear weapons on their territory. Poland, in response to Russian escalation, wants to now host US nuclear weapons on their territory. Big picture, this doesn't really change anything, but if Poland wants to do this, if they think it'll help their own deterrence against Russian aggression, then yeah, I think NATO or the United States will eventually place nuclear weapons on Polish territory. US weighs sending more military advisors to the Kyiv embassy. As many as 60 additional American military advisors could deploy to Ukraine, according to Politico. I think what's happening here in the game of politics here in the United States is, given that this aid package has passed, there's now a political incentive from Biden for Ukraine to do well and for Russia to do bad. If we passed the $60 billion in military aid and Ukraine does not perform well, well, Donald Trump in the election can then attack Joe Biden on this issue. So Joe Biden has more or less pinned his re-election and his presidency on the survival and success of Ukraine's military. So I do think there's a very strong incentive now that the aid package has passed to get some more people over there that can help the Ukrainian military start shaping the battlefield to their advantage. This is a good thing. Let's get to the good news for Ukraine. Denmark has announced they will send their entire F-16 fleet to Ukraine. They're replacing their F-16s with more modern F-35s, but Denmark just won't have any F-16s once the transfer is complete. This is big news. The United Kingdom has announced a military assistance package worth £500 million. This is about 617 million US dollars. This is the largest ever announced UK assistance package. Included will be additional Storm Shadow cruise missiles, air defense missiles, armored vehicles, boats, and small arms ammunition. Thank you so much to the amazing people of the UK. Final feel-good clip I want to share with you is kind of a funny one. These are Ukrainian defenders filming one of these thank you videos for people who crowdfunded drones for their units. But this dog kind of distracted the man speaking here. Check this out.
Бажаю здоров'я. Ми 25-го ФДБ хочемо виразити подяку Байдаку Василю, усій його аудиторії та в першу чергу всім, хто підтримав кудлатний збір. Завдяки вам ми отримали 30 ППВ дронів, які у найближчий час... Сука, блядь, ви...
Cute dog. I want to do a follow-up real quick on Richard Woodruff's fundraiser for this 5-day rehabilitation project for injured Ukrainian defenders. I mentioned this in 2 of my most recent videos. You guys crushed it. Richard was looking for about 6,000 or 7,000 British pounds. He's fundraised 16,000, mostly because I mentioned it in this video. So, update, Richard is going to run this program for guaranteed 20. He's going to do this trip, another trip, and he's already got most of the funds for another 10 Ukrainian soldiers. So, for everyone who donated, thank you so much. But in the comments section, people were asking me what is a Ukrainian fundraiser they can donate to concerning drones to help defenders on the front lines. So I'm going to highly recommend this Twitter channel belonging to a man named Constantine. He's a Ukrainian combat veteran currently living in the state of Texas. And he does a lot of fantastic work fundraising online. Let me share with you one of the thank you videos from a recent fundraiser he did. Greetings, thank you to everyone who supports the donations to Constantine and the Liberty Ukraine Foundation. Today we have received this car, but previously you helped us with an excavator, drones, and protections against enemy drones for our machines. Your support is important to us. Don't stop and we won't stop. Special thanks to the open source intelligence Twitter community, Defmon, Andrew, Tataragami, and Dimitri from War Translated for supporting the fundraisers. You save lives, and you bring us closer to victory. Glory to Ukraine. So Constantine currently is organizing a massive fundraiser looking to get about $75,000 US. This is drones to save lives with the Liberty Ukraine Foundation. If you want to kick in $5 or $10, I'll put the link down below. These guys really appreciate it. These drones do save lives. They make a huge difference. Thank you to everyone who chooses to support, chooses to donate. I really appreciate it. That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Best way to support the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.